Maria Ressa clashing with presidential spokesperson Sal Panelo. Ressa says there were irregularities in her arrest on Wednesday, while Panelo tells her don't blame the government. Our senior correspondent Ina Andolong tells us more.
Malacanang insists it's not an issue of freedom of expression, as claimed by Rappler Chief Maria Ressa. The journalist's arrest has stirred reactions from both local and international figures, foreign officials and journalists pitching in, with some saying it's a blow to Philippine democracy.
The support obviously is coming from those who have been either ignorant of the facts or misinformed of the facts.
Presidential spokesman Sal Panelo and Ressa faced off in CNN Philippines On the Record Thursday night over alleged irregularities in Ressa's arrest. The Rappler chief says her arrest was carried out with the intent of malice, since the warrant was served after courts closed. It left her no choice but to be detained and wait for the next day to post bail. Ressa also pointed out that her arrest warrant did not indicate her bail amount and also didn't come with a proper information sheet.
The officers had 10 days to actually serve it. They didn't have to serve it after court was closed yesterday. They did not have to detain me. In fact, that's an infraction of my rights. This case that is ludicrous to begin with, is actually a case where I have the right to bail. It's not debatable.
The warrant of arrest says any peace officer or police officer has to effect the arrest immediately after its issuance. Now you want to be treated differently. That cannot be done, Maria. The law is no respecter of social standards.
Panelo, a lawyer himself, says Ressa shouldn't blame the government for her lawyer's incompetence.
I cannot even understand, Maria, why your lawyers do not have a copy of the information filed against you. My goodness. Lawyers should always be on their toes. You know that your client is facing a charge, and anytime the information could be filed.
Rappler is known for being critical of the government, which has filed tax evasion charges against the news website. Ressa's arrest, though, is related to a cyber libel case filed by a private individual who President Duterte says he has never met. The president denies Ressa's arrest is an attack on the media.
Jesus Maria, sir. Apart from it, actually, I do not really o babae pati bata. Wala ko ba. Hindi ko kilala yan si Deng. Frankly, I do not know him and what prompted him to file a case.
Ressa says the administration is weaponizing the law to attack critical media. It's the other way around, though, for Malacanang.
They're saying that the government is instilling fear because of the case filed against you. There is no connection whatsoever. Oh, Maria, you are the one using or weaponizing the law. What is the law? The constitutional right to freedom of expression. You're using that now against the government. But the Constitution says libel is not protected by the freedom of expression. That is precisely why you are charged.
The palace says Ressa's arrest is just part of court processes in her cyber libel case. Ina Andolong, CNN Philippines.
Rappler CEO and executive editor Maria Ressa joined her staffers, supporters, and fellow journalists in a Black Friday rally yesterday. This is to protest her recent arrest, which drew local and international criticism. In a speech, Ressa said her arrest has not dampened her spirit or affected operations of the online news organization. Prominent activists and members of journalism groups also took part in the protest held in Quezon City.
Ang laban para sa malayang pamamahayag ay hindi lang tungkol sa aming journalist, hindi lang po tungkol sa Rappler, hindi lang po tungkol sa akin. At lalo nang hindi ito tungkol sa akin. Ang nakataya po dito ay ang karapatan ng Pilipino na malaman ang katotohanan.
Ressa is out on bail following her arrest and overnight detention over a cyber libel case, which she says is an attack on press freedom. Malacanang and the Justice Department insist the case has nothing to do with press freedom. President Rodrigo Duterte has signed into law the rice tariffication bill. This removes restrictions on the amount of imported rice and instead imposes taxes on rice coming into the country. Some officials say the new law will help lower rice prices, while farmers and stakeholders are worried about their future. Caroline Bongkin reports.
Economic managers blamed rising prices triggered by more expensive rice as among the factors that slowed the economy down last year. In August and September, the staple cost 55 pesos per kilogram and at times soared to 70 pesos in some provinces. For a mother of 5 like Jennifer with a daily food budget of 120 pesos, the price of rice will determine whether or not they can have a nutritious meal.
Kukulangin po, hindi rin makakabili ng ulam. Bakit? Sa 120, yan, budget 120 sa araw-araw. Minsan, miswa, ganun. Minsan, itlog. Minsan, pagdating ng gabi, wala na. Gulay palang mahal na po.
Some lawmakers and economic managers believe the bill allowing unlimited rice imports will address the needs of people like Jennifer to have affordable food on the table. Importers will be allowed to bring in rice from abroad in exchange for a 35% tariff for shipments from ASEAN neighbors and 50% from others. Economic managers earlier said rice tariffication will lower retail prices by 2 to 7 pesos per kilogram.
If you're talking about a commodity that actually affects 20% of the budget of the Filipino families, that we're talking about 73% of the total economy of the country, then you're now talking about lower inflation and higher economic growth.
But Balberian points out a policy downside. Farmers may be at the losing end without corresponding support from the government. The rice tariffication bill will set aside 10 billion pesos per year to support farmers and improve agricultural output. Half of the amount will go to rice farm machinery and equipment to eligible farmer groups, rice cooperatives, and local government units. There's also a portion for rice seed development, training, and credit assistance for farmers. The fund will also be sources of direct financial assistance to farmers tilling 2 hectares and below in the form of compensation for projected losses from rice liberalization. A Grains Association says the fund is not enough to help farmers compete with cheap imported rice.
Farmers natin 2.7 million. Ngayon, ang kanilang cost of production, 1 hektarya, nasa 60,000 pesos.
He points out another problem of too much dependence on imports.
Bawa naman tumaas ang presyo sa ibang bansa na nangyari noong 2008.
Grains Association spokesman Orlando Manuntag says real food security will only be achieved by giving full support to farmers. Caroline Bongkin, CNN Philippines.
A new survey shows candidates endorsed by President Duterte or those aligned with his administration are still leading the senatorial race. The latest Pulse Asia survey shows Senator Grace Poe is the top bet, with 7 out of 10 Filipinos likely to vote for her. Ranking second, Senator Cynthia Villar. Tied at 3rd to 6th places are Pia Cayetano, Lito Lapid, and Senator Nancy Binay. Ranking 3rd to 12th, Senators Sani Angara and Coco Pimentel, Bongo, and Jinggoy Estrada. Also fighting for a spot in the Magic 12, Mar Rojas, Amy Marcos, Bong Revilla, Senator Bam Aquino, Serge Osmeña, and former PNP Chief Bato de la Rosa. The survey was conducted January 26 to 31st. The Commission on Elections has released the names of senatorial candidates who this early have violated the rules on campaign materials. George Cahilas tells us 40 candidates are on the COMELEC list.
Election personnel combed the streets of Manila with one mission: take down illegal campaign materials. In this hotel, a huge tarpaulin of senatorial candidate Bongo with the president.
These are considered as illegally posted because even if it says it is headquarters of the candidate, obviously it is not, because this is the hotel is an abandoned property, no? Pangalawa, kahit na headquarters po ito, kailangan nasa tamang size pa rin siya. So oversized po yung posters ng kandidato natin na nakalagay dito. We will be notifying the candidate to remove the posters within 3 days. And then babalikan po natin siya afterwards to check if the posters are removed.
Based on COMELEC rules, posters should not exceed 2 by 3 feet and streamers should not exceed 3 by 8 feet. They should only be put up in COMELEC-designated areas and private property with owner consent. In a tweet, COMELEC Commissioner Rowena Guanzon posted a list of 40 senatorial candidates with illegal posters. Bongo is not among them. COMELEC officials say they have communicated with the candidates who have supposedly violated the rules on campaign materials.
Sino ba nakikinabang dyan sa poster na yan? Kahit sino pa nagkabit niyan, kung nakikinabang ka, ikaw ang magiging responsible. Kaya nga sinasabi natin, tanggalin nyo.
In a statement, Go urges supporters to follow campaign rules and help him in his bid. When asked about COMELEC's comment,
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. That's good. What do you want me to say? It's good. It's good.
this means poll officials will have control over local security forces and local officials involved in the elections. On Tuesday, PNP Chief Director General Oscar Albayalde says some areas may be placed under COMELEC control. The PNP has identified 701 towns and cities that are considered election hotspots.
Ina-assess natin, ina-evaluate week after week, month after month, and eventually, just before the election day or a week or two, then we'll recommend to the COMELEC ano talaga ang nasa final list of red areas na talagang potentially na talagang hotspot talaga siya.
The police assure the public they will strictly carry out checkpoint operations to avoid violence. Jersh Cahiles, CNN Philippines.
Despite farmers' opposition, a lawmaker backs President Duterte's signing of the rice tariffication law. Senator Cynthia Villar says the law will help farmers, quote, improve their profitability and competitiveness. Villar is the chairperson of the Senate Committee on Agriculture and Food. The Grains Retailers Confederation of the whole of Philippines weighs in on the unlimited importation of rice. Spokesperson Orlando Manuntag tells CNN Philippines the impact on the local rice industry.
Ang tingin po ng aming coalition po ng mga union farmers, ng ating mga retailers, mga businessman, millers, ito po ay malubhang nakakasama sa atin. Bakit? Sa pagtuloy na pagpasok ng imported rice sa atin, ito ay uninfeeded o only rice. Ibig sabihin, during harvest time, nag-harvest ang Filipino farmers natin, meron pa rin tayong papasok na imported. So paano nila ibebenta yung kanilang harvest? Pangalawa, sa karamihan ng pagpasok na yan, wala na monitoring ang gobyerno kung saan pumupunta at dumadaloy. At hindi natin po pwedeng iasa sa dayuhan ang ating pagkain ng ating food security. So kinakailangan talaga natin, unahin natin sariling farmers natin.
On to another big story today. A huge stash of cocaine amounting to almost $500 million pesos was recovered along the shores of the Caraga region. So far, a total of 89 kilograms worth 457 million pesos have been discovered on Siargao and Dinagat Islands. 37 bricks of cocaine weighing almost 49 kilograms were found on Tuesday in the shoreline of Dinagat, while another 40 kilos were found in Siargao in subsequent operations since Thursday. The local police have yet to determine the syndicate behind these shipments. We now talk to Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency Region 13 Director Eileen Lovitos. Good afternoon, Director Lovitos.
Yes, good afternoon, Mai.
Let's talk about this huge drug haul, almost $500 million pesos worth, na diskubre nung 4 na magkakasunod na araw. Nalaman niyo na po ba, ma'am, kung sino ang sindikato sa likod nito?
We are still conducting our investigation who is the syndicate behind this proliferation of cocaine in the shorelines of Dinagat as well as in the Siargao Islands.
Pero any leads, Director Lovitos, on where these came from?
Again, the authorities, or there was a tipster about a unidentified floating object in the islands of Dinagat as well as in Siargao. And indeed, when we conducted our investigation as well as the conduct of tests or screening tests on it, it yielded positive for cocaine.
Bakit po kaya sa dagat sinadya ba ito at ganito na po ba ang bagong modus ng drug syndicates ngayon?
Ang ating kasing ginagawa dito sa Caraga region ay ang ating pag-intensify ng conduct of inspection using our K9 unit on the airports or seaports are being intensified. And we are looking into the possibility na hinuhulog na lang dito sa dagat. Of course, considering na vast ang ating coastlines as well as we are archipelagic yung ating island. So that is why tinitingnan natin itong mga possibility na ito na talagang ginagamit na ito, hinuhulog na nila sa dagat.
Any similar incidents in the past, Director?
Well, kung matatandaan natin sa summer, may nangyari din. And then I think recently sa Scamsur, meron ding discover. I think that was in February 12. May nakuha doon na isang brick also na cocaine. And I think in the past year, yun sa summer, nagkaroon ng incident na ganon.
Tukol dito doon sa drug haul this past week, bakit po kaya sa Siargao at Dinagat Island may malaki po bang market sa mga lugar na ito o sadyang gateway lamang po?
Dito naman kasi sa Caraga, wala pa tayong incidents ng use of cocaine. I think, again, we are looking into the possibility na dinaanan lang or dumadaan lang sa atin dito yung the possibility itong mga vessels and then hinulog lang or talagang dumaan lang sa atin dito. Again, this is the subject for investigation, Mai.
Yung sinasabi niyo pong tipster na nakakita po na nung cocaine na yan floating along the shorelines, may iba po siyang information na nabanggit sa inyo?
Ang kanyang nasabi lang ay he was traversing, kasi pahinante ito siya, he was traversing from Surigao City to Dinagat. And then, ayun nga, may nakita siya na floating object. And then, hinatid niya lang yung kanyang pasahero at bumalik siya. And yun nga, nakita niya yung itong lumulutang na ito na object. And then, nung binuksan niya, this is something different because siguro sa experience na natin, nagkaroon na tayo ng experience nito in summer na ganun din ang nangyari. So, he immediately reported this to the authority.
All right, Director Lovitos, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you, Mai.
That was PIDEA Region 13 Director Eileen Lovitos. Hundreds of people are now in Fort Del Pilar for the 2019 Philippine Military Academy Annual Homecoming. Our Makoy Popioko reports to us live from Baguio City for the latest. Hi, Makoy.
Hi, Mai. A number of prominent alumni of the Philippine Military Academy are here today. Among them are current government officials, Defense Secretary Delfino Renzana, Interior and Local Government Secretary Ed Año, Social Welfare Secretary Rolando Bautista, PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde, and former Armed Forces Chief of Staff, now Environment Secretary Roy Simatu, who is also the guest of honor today. Also here are senatorial aspirants Ronald De La Rosa and Gary Alejano. The PMA, however, has prohibited campaigning during the event. The PMA Alumni Association has discouraged honorary members, some of whom are candidates in the coming midterm elections, from marching during the pass and review of the different PMA classes. The Alumni Association, of course, has allowed alumni who are running in the coming elections to join the march, but they have been warned that campaign posters would be removed. The program has started at 9:30 in the morning, actually still ongoing right now, and the Alumni March is still happening currently. We're in the middle of it. But, even as early as 7 in the morning, guests have started to arrive. The alumni and their loved ones were welcomed with a skydiving exhibition by the PNP skydiving team. During the program, each batch once again marched at the historic Borromeo Field. The PMA Alumni Homecoming draws a crowd of at least 5,000 yearly. It is a joyous event for many of the PMA alumni, a day of reunion with classmates and friends, getting to know their families, and giving back to the century-old institution that produced the country's top military and police officials. Mai.
All right, Makoy, we'll be getting updates from you later on. Makoy Popiok giving us the latest from the PMA's annual alumni homecoming. Hundreds joined this year's Walk for Life at the Quezon City Memorial Circle. Present in the event is Manila Archbishop Luis Antonio Cardinal Tagle, who encouraged the public to help in making society a better place to nurture young people.
Ang ating lipunan sana ay maging isang sinapupunan na nagbibigay buhay at hindi nag-aaksaya ng buhay. But we have to do our share in making society such a tender, compassionate womb where life will flourish, where the promise of Jesus, life in abundance, could really happen.
Now on its third year, Walk for Life is an event that calls for the protection and preservation of life.